right, so we got to move on. We got to start the show. Let's go down with our first segment. Delilah, what do we have?
Ooh, ladies, we got to talk about some drama. Yes, Nicole, the drama of this week was insane. Ooh.
The drama. We on this show have a segment called The Drama because we like to talk the drama, okay? And ladies, boy, has there been drama. So we're going to go ahead and start off with our also known as Superman, Cam Newton. Cam Newton decided this week that he was going to come out and make a statement about game changers and game managers. And so it looks like he named a few quarterbacks, and I want to see what you guys think. He said that Dak Prescott was a game manager. He said that Tua, game manager. He said Brock Purdy, game manager. And he said Golf, game managers, not game changers. Do you guys agree with this, I guess, theory that Cam Newton has that they're not game changers, they're only game managers? And that basically their job is just to not lose the ball. You know, do what you need to do, but not lose the ball. Don't lose them the game, basically, just to be a game manager. What do you think, Kate?
I see his point because it's not like they are doing like Jalen Hurts running, and they're not doing like some of the acrobatics that some of the quarterbacks do. There are game managers. There are people out there simply to get the ball to the receiver, get the ball to the running back, and just kind of let the game take shape and let it be based on the blocking and based on everything else. But they're not necessarily like running in the pocket, and they're not necessarily having to scramble. They're not doing the running. They're not doing that tush push. They're not doing the extras that some of the other quarterbacks in the league are doing. So I can totally see what he is saying. And I totally agree. There are game managers and there's game changers, because there are some quarterbacks out there willing to take that run and risk the hit and risk the everything else to win it for their teams, where some just basically take the ball and go, here, run it, here, you catch it. So I agree with what he's saying, and I see what he's saying about the certain quarterbacks he mentioned. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to have a manager. That means you have a very strong offensive line that you can trust and count on, that you don't have to do the extras to win the game for your team. I saw the difference in having a game changer and a game maker when your Cowboys played the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, you saw the difference in what each offensive line was able to do. So the quarterbacks had to do more and yours had to do less. So I do see the point. It's all about, if you have a strong line, you should only have to manage the game as a quarterback. And then if you have a weak line, or you have a line that's not playing up to snuff, that's usually playing that way, you might have to do a little bit more and be more of a changer. So I see what he's saying.
Okay, all right, I hear your point of view. I don't know, though, because, when we look at the quarterbacks, are we now, because there are now running quarterbacks, are we getting away from the fact that it is a difficult job to be a throwing quarterback and to not do as much runs and, all the fluff? We don't have an offensive line like tush push Eagles. So for the Cowboys, they're going to have to throw the ball. And as we all know, at the beginning of the season, Tony Pollard wasn't producing like we thought he would produce. Everybody thought he was going to come out, Zeke's gone, and Tony Pollard's going to be amazing. I do think it's hard on the quarterbacks now to actually be just a throwing quarterback and have to run sometimes, but be somebody who can change the game. I do think it's harder on the quarterbacks. Delilah, what do you think?
Well, my first thing is, before I respond, what's a game changer to him though? Like, did he list who those quarterbacks are? That's what I would have. Now, if he is comparing quarterbacks that what he calls game managers to someone like Patrick Mahomes, that's like an unfair, to me, an unfair comparison, right? Because regardless of how the Chiefs are doing, right, because they're kind of in a downward trajectory, you still can't take away from Mahomes, right? It's like we can't take, you know what I mean? Like you can't say, oh, he's just an okay quarterback, because then you're just being salty, right? You know what I mean? So if that's a game changer, then that's kind of different. But I see how some of those quarterbacks he listed might be seen as game managers. Like I do think that Jared Goff turned out to be pretty good for Detroit, right? Whereas he wasn't good where he was with the Rams, right? Because in the Rams he wasn't playing this good, right? Let's be honest. He wasn't as good on the Rams. They traded him away and they won a Super Bowl, and now he's doing good managing with Detroit. You know, even though they've had a couple losses, but they're doing really good, right? They had a playoff run last year, and this year it looks like they will be in the playoffs. And so I still think that similar to like Lamar, I do think that the way they assess Dak Prescott, I admit, I think it's a little unfair, it's a little unskewed, because he's doing everything he needs to do. Whether you like the Cowboys or not, you still should look at Dak for what he's doing. And I think he's going to have a really great year. I believe he is in conversations for MVP. I've seen the list. So he can't be a game manager if he's if he's on that top 10 list. You know what I mean? Quarterbacks.
Top two list.
See, he moved up. See what I mean? So that's what I mean. So if he is in that conversation for MVP, then I think that's unfair for him to be in that manager category. But I can see how some of the others are game managers, right? Like, and they're serviceable and they get you some wins. You know what I mean? Like, I get that part, but I think everyone on that list, I don't think everyone on the list that he said game managers. I also agree with what Anthony was saying. It's like, he's not even in the league anymore. He's not even playing football. He tried with the Patriots, didn't work the scheme, and they got rid of him, and so some people might see it as him being a little salty that he's not one of those game managers, So that can also come from that place, because people could also say he is a game manager because he was amazing running quarterback, right? We know he broke all sorts of records. I'm not hating on that part. He was super athletic. We saw he murdered a bunch of, Michael Vick's records, rushing, blah, 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 right? But he's not in the NFL right now, is he? He's on a podcast. That's all. So where is that coming from?
I agree. I mean, especially that's why I feel like I understand some of his point with some of them,
right?
But I don't think Brock Purdy or Dak is a game.
He's in the conversations for MVP too.
I think they're game changers. I think that there's plenty of plays that you can call out from both of them that you're like, wow, they are very good quarterbacks. I mean, even when they tried to use Brock Purdy he has all the weapons, so he doesn't have to do much. Brock Purdy's been launching that ball. So I think it's very hard to put it in places that they're putting it. But I just wanted to see what you guys thought. Nicole, what do you think about this one?
I don't necessarily agree with his list either. Some of the guys that are on there, I think maybe if I could agree with the list, if it was more of a taking it back from like my good old soccer days of sometimes teams play to their best or their worst, depending on their opponent. Like you guys, Dallas is in a hard division compared to us. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it is playing to what the other opposing team gives, and you still make it a battle and being like, listen, they're not as good as this team, which we like kicked butt last week with, I feel like sometimes they don't play to their capabilities of what they're used to, and going by that, I think they're a little bit more of like a reactive, going off of what the who they're playing against, and they could be their worst critic in that aspect. That's the only thing that I could see. But I mean, I even think with going with the Hail Marys and the quarterbacks, it's not, I haven't seen a lot of good long passes. It's not a long passing game, I feel like, anymore. Things have changed. So I don't know. That's how I feel.
I understand. Game manager, game changer. I mean, it's all up to the eye. Whoever, what you're looking at, everybody's going to have their opinion on it. I just thought, since he brought it up to the world, why not talk about it with my girls? But we have some more drama, guys. As my girl Delilah was saying earlier, it looks like the Chiefs are going through this little slump, but the slumps are from dumb mistakes. Travis Kelce made the play of a lifetime, and it got called back due to Kadarius Toney being offsides. Offsides. And so the drama of it is that Mahomes basically said that it doesn't get called. There's a plenty of times where offensive linemen line up offsides, but in my opinion, I've heard of a lot of offensive offsides. It may be from the linemen, not necessarily the wide receivers, because as you notice, the wide receivers point their hand out to the ref to make sure that they're on the line. You see it when they run up, they point to the ref gives them an okay. My question is, do rookie mistakes for these top tier teams make you feel like Kansas City may not even have a chance to get all the way back up to the top because of rookie bad mistakes? I mean, come on. It's getting kind of crazy with Kansas City and all the times that they almost win the game and something happens. But an offensive offsides, ladies, what do you think about this? Nicole, what did you think?
I think it's preposterous. The audacity of this. The pointing. I don't know. But yeah, it's hard to say because that is really, I think that there could be a little bit more leeway. They got that replay button, and it, as other people can see, it may be unfair or unjust of what they do call and what they don't call. And I'm sorry to hear for the Chiefs with them in their slump, but I've been there, and you'll get back into it. Don't worry. You just need to be there and go through it.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, each game is different. I mean, Kate, what do you think? Are they going to push through these mistakes? Are they going to work through them? We're getting towards the end of the year, and we're still seeing rookie mistakes.
I have no clue what's going on with the Kansas City Chiefs lately. They're just not playing with the tenacity and the want and the drive and the desire. And to see that Patrick Mahomes had a literal meltdown after that, was like throwing his helmet, like was very unprofessional in his handshake with Josh Allen after that game and everything else, blaming the refs. When Tony's foot was clearly over the line. I mean, it was just like, how blatant can it be that his foot was not where it was supposed to be? I just don't know what is going on with the mental health of the Chiefs right now, because I think they're all making mental mistakes, not being all in the game. I don't know if, I hate to bring her name up, I don't know if it's the Taylor Swift curse on that team right now or what's going on, because like Kelsey's not playing his best even when she's there. They're just not playing their best. And I just want to say that, you don't get to the Super Bowl playing the way they're playing right now and making the mistakes they're playing and not having the mental capacity to make smart decisions and smart plays. And, I know they were without Pacheco and everything, and I know that was huge, but he was offsides.
Yeah.
He was clearly offsides, and it was clear as day he was. But and it was bad that they were challenging it and mad about it, because, I mean, they put it on the Jumbotron. I'm like, do you not see his toe over that line? But I don't know. I think they need to have a come to Jesus meeting in that locker room, and Andy Reid needs to get that team together, because I don't see them going to the playoffs playing the way they're playing right now. They're just not sharp.
I understand. I totally understand. Delilah, what'd you think?
Yeah, I think the reason people are upset, and the thing is that Mahomes is not the only quarterback who's thrown tantrums. If we remember, your guy Tom Brady broke a tablet or whatever, and that was a whole thing, right? He broke a tablet, and they were like, "Oh, they can't break these tablets," and it was like all over the place. Sometimes these quarterbacks, especially these elite quarterbacks, right? They just don't like to lose, right? They're super competitive and they're gonna explode. And I think it's unfair to judge Mahomes that way when other elite quarterbacks have had similar explosions multiple times throughout their careers, right? So I'm ignoring that part. The issue, I think, what it is that the offsides, like Sean was saying, other people, is inconsistent. That's what Mahomes was saying. It is inconsistent. They don't always call an offsides. We have seen it. We've called for flags before because we're like, wait a minute, it's offside, and then the ref's like, oh, I didn't see it, right? I think that's really what the issue is the inconsistency in calling these out. And so I think that's really what it is. I think that, yeah, we're going to have this argument every year until the NFL, we talked about this on the roundtable as well, until the NFL really makes an adjustment to this rule that is consistent across the board, you know what I mean, at whatever quarter, whatever they're going to do. I think that's really what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree, Sean. And I think that that's really what the issue is. They're going to go to the playoffs. Even if somehow Denver wins out, which is possible, mathematically, Denver could win their division if the Chiefs keep losing. But I still think like Chiefs win tiebreakers, right? Because, you know, that's kind of how that goes. So either Chiefs will go in either as the division leads or they'll go in as a wild card. But I still think they'll make playoffs. Now, will they make it all the way to the AFC Championship and win? I don't know yet. But I know we called them out, you know, we said, oh, they're not going to go anywhere last year, and then they won another Super Bowl. So I still wouldn't count them out yet. I mean, it is different from last year. They're not playing even when they started winning games, we saw a trajectory upwards, right? It was in the opposite direction where they actually trajected upward, right? They started off bad, and then they did off to the races and won a Super Bowl. We're kind of seeing the opposite, which is why people are saying, yeah, I don't know if it's the same team that could win another Super Bowl. And I do agree with that part because we're not in a day and age where winning back-to-back Super Bowls is common anymore. You know what I mean? It's just not. Yeah. It's possible, but it's also very difficult to do. And so I don't know if this is a team that will win another back-to-back Super Bowl.
I know a lot of analysts are saying, is it time for Travis Kelce to hang it up because he's not playing to his potential anymore? That was a big thing being talked about on one of the shows on Fox Sports 1, that it is maybe time for him to step aside and let a younger tight end come in and be the stud and the star of the team too. So that is another piece of drama being discussed within the Chiefs organization right now as well. Is Kelce, is it time for him to go?
I would not go that far. I think that he is injured. He is definitely injured. You can tell he's got something going on, but no, I think if there would be a big mistake to get rid of Travis Kelce.
Oh, yes, I agree.
We'll take him.
One of the best. That would be, if he thinks that the receivers that they have now are bad, try getting rid of the best. The best.
They need receivers. Kelce is not a wide receiver. That's the problem. He's a tight end who acts like a wide receiver.
They missed Tyreek Hill. Let's just face it. They missed their cheetah.
I agree with you, Sean. People are just like dumping on the Chiefs. It's because they are the new Patriots. That's what this is.
They've been to the last 5 AFC championships, Sean. You are absolutely right.
What it is.
We can't go overboard, but it is something to think about when they're making a lot of rookie mistakes, a lot of drops, a lot of things going on with the Chiefs that we have not seen before. And so we will see. Stop blaming our Swiftie. Kelce is
He is. Oh my God. If they traded him away, I would then say yes, the Chiefs messed up. Like there's no you need wide receivers, Chiefs. You have the money. Mahomes made sure that even though he's gonna make a lot of money, that it was nice and balanced throughout the year so that you have money. So that's what you need. Get some wide receivers who can make those plays. That's really what it is.
Hey, that's what they need to do. All right, ladies, we got one more piece of drama. Thank you guys for tuning in and chiming in and telling us what you guys
And
think.
Cornette.
This last one, Kelsey's distracted by yeah. We got to get on to this next one, guys. Ben Roethlisberger has a podcast, and he kind of is taking a swipe at Mike Tomlin, basically saying the tradition might be done. The Steelers tradition, the dynamic Steelers tradition we all know about, may be done, and references bad coaching. Now, ladies, in my opinion, I think this is straight up hateration. If anything with bad coaching was keeping you on the damn lineup for so daggone long when you weren't able to do anything. So I think this is hateration because at the end of the day, we talk about it every year, how Mike Tomlin has a long history of never having a losing season, okay? And actually putting teams in position to make playoffs that you didn't even think that they would. I mean, he's been working miracles. You got to start over. You did lose Ben. You did have to create a new team. You've lost Juju. You've lost a lot of things on the team. So building is going to take some time. But Nicole, what do you think about this one? Because it seems like Ben Roethlisberger, who was Big Ben, he is great for in his round, but you're chiming in saying that bad coaching, this guy coached you and got you where you are. So I don't know, Nicole. What you think?
Is this the coach Tom Lennon? Tom?
Yep, yeah, Mike Tomlin. Yep.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin. Uh, well, that's kind of a little bit mean. You know, I mean, everyone, these guys in their podcast, everyone has a podcast that is in the NFL. Like, if you have a team, I'm pretty sure someone has a podcast that you can. That's great, though. I mean, good for him, but he's very comfortable in his podcast by a little bit knocking some shade over to his coach there, if that's what it was intended to. Well received. But I think, yeah, Pickett and them, I think they're doing pretty good. I think he might be a little sour.
Yeah, 100%. You don't play anymore. You're not in the game anymore. You're not even in the locker room, and you're telling it it's bad coaching and all these other. You lost your starting quarterback. You're playing with a backup. You're trying to make a way out of no way, and you gotta chime in. It kind of makes me mad, Kate. What do you think?
I think Big Ben is retired and he's heading to the Hall of Fame, so he just needs to keep his mouth quiet and let Mike Tomlin do Mike Tomlin things and let Mike Tomlin figure out what's going on in their locker room with their quarterbacks. And
yeah.
I don't know why he'd be so salty. You'd think he'd say, Coach, I see things are struggling. What can I do as a former player by coming in and helping to help solve the problem versus sitting behind a mic being an armchair former quarterback and trying to stir the pot? Like, to me, I would just be like, Coach, I see things are struggling. Could I come in and work with your quarterbacks? Could I come in and offer advice? Could I come and give
Yes,
come into the locker room before the game and give a speech to get them pepped up and get them going? You gave me so many years of great coaching. Let me give back to the team instead of sitting behind a mic, acting all holier than thou, and hating on a coach that won him a Super Bowl. Yep. And I'm just sitting here saying, grow up. You have been given so much by this man. You should be giving back and paying it forward to an organization that gave you so much and is going to put you in the Hall of Fame someday. That is my 2 cents, and I'm sticking to it.
I love it. I love it, Kate. That was fantastic. Absolutely. Sean, you are so funny. I saw your comment, man. You're hilarious.
I had to stay away
what do you think about this?
No, I agree. I'm surprised because for years, they always made it seem like they had good camaraderie, right? He spoke nothing but amazing things, right? While Tomlin was his head coach. They won a Super Bowl together. And I agree with you, Janae. Every time they count out the Steelers, somehow they win and make playoffs. somehow they did it last year. They're doing it again this year, where they start off going under 500. All of a sudden, they get to that 500 and over mark somehow.
Yes.
With the Canada controversy, right? Oh, it's Canada, blah, 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 blah. And Mike Tomlin's like, okay, he's gone now, right? And so I think that I'm actually surprised that he would say that about a coach that mentored him for seasons on end and who has given to the Steelers and Pittsburgh so much love and so many winning seasons with subpar teams since Ben left. You know, like,
Yeah.
come on. Like, I'm honestly surprised because Mike, you always see him. He's composed. What I like about Mike Tomlin, he reminds me of, and I almost feel like I think he came from the same crop, or he was mentored by like Dungy, I think, at one point. And he reminds me of Tony Dungy and Lovie Smith. They're not the guys that are going to cuss you out, make you feel awful about yourself. All of them are, you know, follow a certain mantra of, I'm going to respect you. You respect me. I'm not going to yell at you. I'm not going to cuss you out. I'm not going to belittle you, make you feel awful. They're going to try instead to uplift you. And instead, you know, they're more quiet. They're more reserved in addressing stuff, but it gets addressed. So don't get it twisted. Just because they're quiet doesn't mean they're not having those conversations, not being stern. But they're always mature and they're always focused and they're always mentoring and talking to these guys. So I'm honestly surprised that he would say that about someone who took him to the Super Bowl, you know, and who, like we've said, starts off with a losing season and ends up with a winning season somehow. We're like, oh, will this be Mike Tomlin's first losing season? Nope, not yet, right? So somehow he turns it around and he gets these wins. And so I'm actually surprised that he said that, honestly. Like, really, that's kind of sad. I agree with Kate. He should be in there instead. Like she said, hey, Mike, what's going on? Can I go and talk to your new quarterback that you got that's supposed to be the new big guy who's a hometown hero because he attended Pittsburgh University, right? He's supposed to be the big, you know, the hometown kid. So, yeah, I'm actually surprised that he said that.
Begs the question, did Tomlin make Roethlisberger? Or was it the other way around? I don't know. I don't know, but I will say that man Tomlin has had to strap up from the bootstraps and pull teams out, even with Ben Roethlisberger's last couple of years. I mean, even for them to make the playoffs, they struggled. Yeah. And they had, you know, a great year not too long ago. So it's like, man, for you to even question Tomlin after he's done so much for you. Like Kate said, you know, get in there, work with them, see what you could do. But for you to even mention bad coaching, it shows bad character on his part. I just truly think that. I think that's horrible. But it is what it is. But like Sean said, I feel like these retired quarterbacks need to stay their butt, retired, stop worrying about what's going on, and just enjoy your retirement. When I retire, please believe I won't be talking about my own job.
Do
it. All right, so we gotta move on, man. Thank you guys for chiming in, man. The drama is only sweet when you guys get to talking back to us. So you guys make this show so special, and we really appreciate it.